Janice here reporting for LRT Sports. Today I'm going to talk about 5 tips on how to get recruited to play D1 tennis. Tip number 1, be aware of the date that coaches can start emailing you. So you as a recruit can always email, no matter what. You can always be in contact with the coaches, no matter whenever the time. However, coaches can only respond and email you first, starting June 15th of their sophomore year. So even if as a freshman you're starting to email coaches and you don't get responses back, it's because they're not allowed to email you first or reply back to you. So make sure you also start this process early. That way you're able to create kind of a sense of introduction, create a relationship between you and the coach. That way when that June 15th date rolls around, you are ready. They know who you are. They have a name they recognize in their email box, and they'll start responding. Tip number 2, be open and honest about your skill level. If you're starting your recruitment process your sophomore year, think about what your level can improve to between your sophomore year to when you commit to a school. So maybe that be about your early senior year. So think about your skill level when you're getting recruited all the way until you cannot be recruited anymore. I think being open and honest about your skill level and really assessing where you fall in between within your region, whether that be your state or a collection of states, depending on how big your region is, how good you are in your recruiting class, and how good you are in the nation. I think keeping that in mind when going about this recruitment process is really the best way to move forward, because that way you're able to know what you deserve in terms of scholarships and where you deserve to play. And if that's not kind of where you're going, where you're looking to go, if you're kind of looking to play and be okay with playing lower lines in your beginning years, that kind of is something you need to make sure you know. Or if you want to be playing line 1 all 4 years, you have to also assess that as well. Tip number 3. From there, after you've been assessing your personal skill level, it's time to start doing research. For me, I started this in my sophomore year with my parents. I kind of talked it out with them about what qualities I thought about in a school that I was looking to go to. Did I want a strong academics? Did I want a strong tennis program? I had to think about possible majors, location, weather, the coach itself. I think it's important to do this research prior to getting those emails from those coaches. That way you're able to weed out the ones you don't. And if those coaches don't reach out to you that June 15th, that start point, then you know which coaches to reach out to. I would recommend using an Excel spreadsheet, kind of listing out and organizing all the priorities and qualities that you find that you want in a school. That way it just makes the process more streamlined and doesn't get you overwhelmed. Tip number 4, make sure you attend tournaments and camps that showcase your skill level. If you do want to get more recognition, you can go to the big international tournaments that are in the winter breaks, which is Orange Bowl and Eddie Herr. Those are typically when coaches do the most recruiting, as that's when we're on break. Summer and winter is typically when they do the most. If you're kind of more of someone that is on the lower end of the scale, like a 4-star, 3-star, based off tennis recruiting, you should also go to showcases. I know that they have a bunch of showcases at Orlando at the USTA National campus, where they have a lot of coaches come in from all different divisions who are looking for players to play for them. And so I think that's the best opportunity you can get and to see where you fall among people in your same skill level, as well as get really good exposure. In general, I recommend everyone to try and play SoCal, Mizzou, and Winter Nationals. Like I said before, summer and winter is when the college coaches do the most recruiting. That's when they have their breaks. SoCal Mizzou is the biggest tournament that you can possibly play. If you're able to qualify for that, you're for sure going to be able to meet some coaches or even introduce yourself to some coaches that are looking to fill their roster. 5. Tip number 5. So obviously, given this COVID-19 pandemic, a lot of tournaments have been canceled. So I would recommend doing in the meantime is creating some kind of